Madison County is also the poorest county in Idaho, due in large part to its significant student population. Coupled with rising housing costs, what can you do as a state legislator to provide affordable housing in our community?
Thank you. I'm an economics professor. I have a PhD in economics, and so I understand the value of free markets and how markets work. And government can do a lot to harm markets with regulations, with overly restrictive zoning laws. We can lead to a situation where it becomes difficult, if not impossible, to build new homes. And so what we can do as a state legislature is, for the most part, get out of the way. Let builders build. Let's relax on some regulations. Let's relax on some taxes there so that people have the wherewithal to invest in building developments and for homeowners to keep more of their tax dollars so that they can buy a new home and build a new home. So if there's a housing shortage and we're worried about the future prosperity of our community, let's get out of the way so that the market can do its wonderful work. Right now, it's a supply issue. Supply chains are disrupted, and because of that, we have a decrease in supply leading to higher prices. At the same time, the government is sending huge stimulus checks to households, increasing demand for all sorts of consumer goods and services. And so anybody who's taken my Econ 150 class knows that if you decrease supply and increase demand at the same time, the result is absolutely going to be higher prices. Well, look at that issue, that the supply chain disruptions were a government issue, that the stimulus checks just being given out were a government issue. Getting government out of the way would go a long ways to solving our housing problems and restoring prosperity to struggling families, especially in a time of high inflation.
Thank you. Ms. Raybould.
So as we talk about affordable housing, it has sort of a chain reaction within the community, because it's not just the housing itself. It's a question of whether or not the jobs in the community are paying a wage that covers the housing that is available. It's a question of whether or not the schools are in place to be able to absorb additional students as family moves into communities. In short, we're just talking about the consequences of growth. And I think all you have to do is drive down 2nd East at about 3 p.m. on any given afternoon, and you'll get a good feel for just how much we've grown based on the traffic jams that we have. So as we look at the ways that we can address this particular issue, it does come down to a case of, have we looked at what's on the books, whether it be regulation, whether it be lead times, whether it be licensing, whatever the case may be, have we gone in and have we done our best to pull back anything that isn't absolutely critical to allow those who are in a position to go in and do that level of development? In some conversations that I've been having with contractors, one of the things that they've said that's gotten in the way of their speed, it's not just a supply issue, but they're backed up for months in terms of being able to have someone come through and essentially do the review of the work on site. And they can't proceed through that job very quickly because of that backup in that particular process. And so one of the conversations that I've been having with the contractors is, what if we look at an opportunity, not remove the current system, but what if we say, let's set it up so that if contractors want to accept the liability for that review process for the work, be it the plumbing, the electrical, whatever it may be, that perhaps we can take a section of that out of the development and building process and hopefully speed it up to ensure that units are completed more quickly, more efficiently, and frankly, that we can get people into housing as soon as possible so that we can meet the growing demand and people can feel like they're a part of this community because they can actually live here and not have to live elsewhere like in Jefferson County.